The grid went down. The city stood still. Silence blanketed the streets. Everything, every light, every machine, every vehicle, fell into darkness. But one thing defied the blackout. It kept driving. An electric vehicle, fully powered, fully functional, without a single wire connected to the grid. What you're about to hear isn't fiction. It's not theory. It's not some exaggeration for headlines. It's real. And it happened. In front of witnesses. On camera. Without tricks. Without explanation. Maxwell Chikumbutso, a name that keeps resurfacing every time someone says impossible. This Zimbabwean inventor has quietly shaken the very foundations of science. And now, he's done it again. The test was simple. Remove all external power sources. Disconnect from the grid. Eliminate charging stations. Pull the plug, literally. The world's most advanced electric vehicles would shut down. Even Tesla, with its cutting-edge tech, still relies on power infrastructure. But not this vehicle. Maxwell's EV moved forward. Silently. Smoothly. Endlessly. Observers looked on in disbelief. No rumble of an engine. No visible charging cable. No solar panels. And yet, it kept going. Hour after hour. Mile after mile. On roads where even a gasoline car would have run dry. The science community had no answers. The car defied not just battery expectations but energy input expectations. According to conventional physics, it should not have moved an inch. But it did more than move, it thrived. Uphill climbs. Acceleration tests. Stop-and-go traffic. It passed them all. Engineers took notes. Scientists recorded data. Some tried to claim it was a hoax until they ran independent tests. Each one yielded the same result. The EV ran without charging. And not just for minutes. For hours. Days. With no external fuel and no connection to any known source of electricity. So how is this possible? Maxwell claims the technology uses a self-charging system. A proprietary electromagnetic system that generates and sustains energy internally. No combustion. No lithium-ion dependency. No solar. Something entirely new, something the world hasn't seen before. Skeptics said it was impossible. But skepticism didn't stop the wheels from turning. Doubt didn't power the drive system. Something else did. And that something else is what terrifies traditional automakers, power companies, and oil giants. Because if this technology scales, if it proves consistent across vehicles, homes, and cities, it could change everything. No more fuel dependency. No more range anxiety. No more power bills. Just unlimited, clean energy, self-contained. The implications are staggering. Imagine a future where you never have to charge your EV. Ever. Where your home generates its own power. Where remote villages with no access to infrastructure suddenly gain clean energy independence overnight. That's not a dream anymore. It's now a prototype. A working, rolling, silent revolution. And Maxwell is at the center of it. But it hasn't been easy. His breakthroughs haven't just attracted attention, they've drawn fire. Suppression. Interference. Accusations of fraud. Threats. Mysterious delays. Corporate resistance. Because when one person threatens trillion-dollar industries, the response is rarely applause. And yet, he continues. Quietly, methodically, consistently, pushing forward against all odds. His work has been tested in South Africa, the US, and beyond. His designs are being replicated in labs. But no one has quite figured out how he's doing it. Because this isn't just about the car. It's about what the car represents. Freedom from infrastructure. Freedom from monopolies. Freedom from engineered scarcity. When they cut the grid, they expected silence. Inactivity. Shutdown. But Maxwell's EV responded with movement, uninterrupted, undeniable, and unexplainable. A rebellion on wheels. Powered by principles no textbook dares to teach. It's more than a machine. It's a message. The world is waking up. And as Maxwell's test results circle the globe, people are beginning to ask the one question big energy doesn't want you to ask. What if we never needed their power in the first place? Because when an EV drives without the grid, when silence meets motion, when the impossible becomes real, you don't just witness innovation, you witness disruption. You witness history. And for Maxwell Chikumbutso, this is just the beginning. But as this story spreads, so do the questions. How long can this car run? What happens under heavy load? What about temperature extremes or terrain variations? The early demonstrations have been promising, but many still want to see large-scale deployment before they'll accept what they saw with their own eyes. And then comes the most uncomfortable question of all. If this works, why isn't the world embracing it? The answer might not lie in science, but in systems. Systems that profit from your dependence. From refueling stations. From electricity bills. From battery replacement cycles. From maintenance, upgrades, and obsolescence. These are billion-dollar industries built on the assumption that energy must be bought, consumed, and bought again. But this EV challenges that very foundation. It's not just a car, it's a threat to everything we've been taught to accept. A moving example that maybe, just maybe, we've had other paths all along. Paths we were never allowed to see. Paths that were blocked, buried, or ridiculed before they could reach the surface. And now, that surface is cracking. People are watching. Governments are listening. Investors are circling, some curious, others concerned. Whispers from the tech community hint that reverse engineering attempts are already underway. And behind closed doors, major players are reportedly reaching out, not to support, but to silence, license, or acquire. Maxwell, however, remains steadfast. He doesn't chase headlines. He doesn't answer to tech giants. His focus has always been one thing: freedom through innovation. Real, working technology that changes lives, especially in parts of the world that have long been ignored or left behind. Because while the West debates patents and profits, rural communities in Africa are already dreaming of how this invention could transform everything. No more waiting for the grid. No more costly fuel imports. No more power cuts. Just clean, silent energy, and endless potential. And the best part? Maxwell's technology isn't limited to vehicles. His demonstrated working generators. Backpacks with built-in self-charging systems. Drones that fly longer than their batteries should allow. Even residential power units that can run homes without a grid connection. All using the same core principle: autonomous, renewable, self-sustaining energy. Some call it electromagnetic energy. Others call it Overunity. Maxwell simply calls it a gift. A discovery meant to be shared. Not hoarded. Not hidden. Not buried beneath red tape and bureaucracy. Yet, time is of the essence. Because if history has taught us anything, it's that disruptive innovations are often met with resistance, not because they don't work, but because they work too well. Remember Nikola Tesla? His wireless energy towers were shut down before the world could even grasp what they meant. Stan Meyer? He created a water-powered car and died under mysterious circumstances. Countless others have pushed the limits of known science, only to be erased, ignored, or discredited before their work could go mainstream. So, will Maxwell be next? Or is the world finally ready? Ready to break the chains of outdated energy. Ready to embrace a new era where power comes not from corporations, but from the very fields that surround us. From the magnetic interactions that are part of nature itself. Always there, just waiting to be tapped. The moment the grid went down and Maxwell's EV kept driving, the old world blinked. And in that moment of disbelief, a new world took its first breath. One car, one test, one spark, igniting global imagination. And now that the light is on, it won't be easy to turn off. So what happens next? That depends on us. Do we keep asking the right questions? Do we keep pushing for open source innovation? Do we protect pioneers instead of persecuting them? Do we move forward, or fall back into the arms of comfortable dependence? Because that car quietly gliding through a power-dead city was more than just a machine. It was a message. A symbol of what's possible when one mind dares to see the world differently. When one person decides that limits were meant to be broken. That science should serve everyone. That technology should be liberating, not limiting. Maxwell's EV didn't justify the grid. It defied fear. It defied control. It defied the idea that we must always pay to move, to live, to thrive. And that is why experts can't explain it. Because some things, some revolutions, can't be understood by old rules. They must be experienced. And for those lucky enough to witness it that night, on that silent street, with the grid down and the wheels still turning, they experienced something unforgettable. The future. Quiet. Clean. Free. What if the future doesn't need charging stations? What if the next revolution starts, not in Silicon Valley, but in Africa? And what if the silence of a running EV becomes the loudest wake-up call the world has ever heard? If this blew your mind even half as much as it did ours, smash that like button, share this with someone who needs to see it. And hit subscribe, because we're just getting started uncovering the tech they don't want you to know about. This isn't just a video. It's a glimpse of a different future. One that might already be here. Stay curious. Stay awake. And we'll see you in the next one.